Thanks, Melanie. Okay, Christina, I think let's get the show on the road. I'm anxious to hear what you have to say and some advice you can give us, especially as we navigate all of this uncertainty and what's happening in the world and how do we sort of come to terms with all of that.
I know it really is a tough time, and thank you very much to everybody at Keller Williams, as well as Maria and Jackie, for helping me come to you today and to be a part of your weekly trainings. Before we begin, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I spent 30 years leading sales and marketing teams for big name media brands, including Martha Stewart and Fast Company. I'm now a performance and a business coach in pursuit of helping people and companies find and build on their secret to their slight edge. Today's workshop comes at a time when we are in our third month of sheltering from home. And it's clear that confinement is no paradise, even for those who love solitude. Google searches for how to get your brain to focus have increased by 300% since February. On top of everything, there's now a new cultural divide. Someone said to me last week that there are three of us, 30% of us in this high state of anxiety and not leaving their homes. 30% who are mask on, ready to go, like business as usual. And 60% of people who are just looking for guidance. So there is a really big divide right now, and there is no one right answer. I've titled today's talk, What's Certain About Uncertainty? And I'm going to stop sharing my screen there just for 1 sec. We'll go back and forth. To get the most out of today, it would be great if you could participate, use the chat, raise your hand, interrupt me. Your questions and comments, bring them on. Hopefully the interactivity is what you'll remember most about today. So as I reshare my screen, I want you to take a look at this diagram and tell me what you think. So this is a diagram. Can everybody see my slides?
Yes.
So this is the diagram of a Zoom meeting. And it really is sort of funny. And I've been giving this talk, and normally I wear a turtleneck to cover my neck because I do think that you always look at your neck when you're on these things. But what I'm looking for, and I'm sure everybody has participated in looking at people's homes, watching, I think, Maria, I just saw your cat jump over your screen. So this is really real. What I hope we can commit to is to do better than the 2% of listening to the content while you're here today. Zoom fatigue is definitely real, but I'm praying that we can do better than the 2%. So I want you to grab a pen and a pad as we're going to have you working through some thought-provoking exercises. And to get started, let's see where we're all at. If we could launch the first poll, Jackie, that would be great. So where are you on a scale of 1 to 10 and how well you're handling COVID-19? And that's where you are today. 1 is you've got this, no problem. And 10 is that like you're pulling your hair out. And so the data is coming in. I think we've almost all gotten there. If you want to launch the results, that would be great, Jackie. So here we are. 50% of you said you're at a 3, which is pretty good. There's 1 at a 6. Let me just see if there's anybody higher than a 6. No one's higher than a 6, and we've got 1 person at a 1, which is terrific. That means you're a bit all over, but more on the upper end. So that is a great place to be at. A lot of the times I'm hearing from people, I'm gonna actually close out it because I'm seeing the polls as well, sorry. So does anybody want to share about what stands out for you guys? You guys are feeling pretty good, that you're finding your way out. Does anybody want to share anything?
I'm the distance learning is a little difficult. Like I keep muting myself and I have a video because like in the space that I'm at, literally in the past, 10 minutes, 2 children ran by, lots of noise. And so I'm finding it difficult in that way. I also, another thing that I'm finding it difficult with is I have a listing that's coming in Millburn, and it's a small house, and the woman is doing work on the house. And she asked me to come over and check things out. And frankly, it was the first time I left my house. And I was wearing a mask, I was wearing gloves. She had no mask on, no gloves on. And what was worse is the workmen were sitting right next to each other on the stoop, no mask, no gloves, and no cars around. So I said, how did they get here? And she said, oh, the boss dropped them off. So three people in a car, now here they are, and now they're in the house that I am going to be responsible for showing. And I know by the time I go to show it, they won't be around. However, I just feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's really, really tough. And managing who has the masks on and who doesn't have the masks on. I mean, a lot about what we're going to talk about is, sort of where you can exhibit your control and where you just have to give up where you don't have control. But it sounds like, and a little bit about what Vanessa was sharing earlier, I mean, there is this sort of uncertainty that's happening right now. I mean, we're all going through a bit of a massive upgrade, like a phone upgrade. And some people say we're going through training and personal development. And like it or not, we've been enrolled in a course that we may not ever thought we'd ever need, right? So today's workshop will give you a fast forward, almost crib notes to letting the uncertainty, fear, and anxiety, Melanie, that you just spoke about, to open yourself up to opportunity for increased focus. And I believe allow you to come out stronger than before the pandemic. My whole life, I've been able to take on some pretty big challenges and deal with a lot of unknowns. When I'm full of fear and blown away with uncertainty, I've used a set of practices to find focus and solutions to come out better. I worked for Martha Stewart, as I said earlier, for 20 years. It was a roller coaster full of anxiety, stress, uncertainty, right? Mixed with a dash of crisis, of course, and shaken with a notable legal troubles. I was with her when the FBI brought charges against her throughout the trial and conviction. Martha didn't go right to jail post-conviction because she was out on appeal. At this point, our business was in massive crisis. Think about asking advertising clients for money to invest in a brand where the face of that brand was a convicted felon. When Martha asked me if she should go to jail instead of waiting for her appeal to be heard, I answered as any young, new, naive for sure, leader in her organization would answer: go as quickly as you can. I had to tell Martha Stewart, a lifestyle icon and celebrity, that the only way to plug the drain on her now failing business was to head into the slammer as quickly as she could. And in just 2 years, we redirected and found our way by letting go of distractions from the media coverage and the haters and refocusing on what we could and what we were good at and what we could control and influence. Now I want you to fast forward with me to just a year ago. It was April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day will never be the same for me. A year ago, this April 1st, my life changed in the moment of a diagnosis. No joke here. I was suddenly smacked in the face with the new normal of a cancer diagnosis, demanding clarity, optimism, courage, and resilience. There was no hashtag to get me through AML leukemia, but there was a good friend, and she's on this call, Terry Andrews. Thank you. This hair color, while natural, was driven entirely by treatment. What did get me through, including support from my friends like Terry, was a playbook that I've counted on to get me through the ups and downs of my career, my family, death, and now cancer. I'd like to share it with you today. It's not rocket science, but it is based to a degree on science and psychology. We'll go through a couple of interactive exercises, keeping 4 things in mind. 1, intentionally looking at what we can control and what we can't. 2, focusing on starting, stopping, and continuing what serves us. 3, being a role model for yourself. And 4, setting habits and routines that will feed and fuel you. So for those of you that are really struggling, and if you're on here, do the best you can. And when you can't do nothing at all, for some of us, we just need to give ourselves permission to do nothing. And when we're ready, you'll know. But for those of you that are ready to take it on, I would love to launch the second poll, if that's possible. If you all could participate in this next poll, which of these songs represents the pandemic for you? I know, Rod, thanks for smiling, Rod. This is my favorite question of all. So if you guys could give us your votes, that would be great. Oh, poor Gloria Gaynor. I will survive, which is great because everybody knows that they're already surviving, so they don't need to actually say it. So it looks like Don't Stop Believing. I love the positive thinking here. Maybe the winner. Do you want to post the results, Jackie? Great. So at least everyone got a vote. Each one of these songs got a vote. But Don't Stop Believing. I love a little journey. Hold on, now I gotta get out of this. Bear with me for 1 second. So there's a lot of talk around uncertainty right now, but what is certain? Is anything really certain? The only thing certain really is death. And of course, the towels that my kids drop on the bathroom floor every day. What we lost 8 weeks ago was predictability. Predictability of our day, our week, and our work. We need to first find clarity around what is in our control in this unpredictable time. Right now, many of us are wasting time on things we can't control. Here's what I say. Stop the social media scroll, stop playing the comparison game, and don't waste time on questions that feed the beast, like when is this gonna end, right? Anxiety is driven by what you don't know and what you can't control. Chip Connolly in his book, Emotional Equations, uses this equation in terms of anxiety. He says anxiety equals certainty times paralysis. We are powerless around what we can't control, and we get powerful with what we can control and what we can influence. So let's regain our power together. If you could take out a pen and a paper, I'm gonna share my screen here again, and I want you to look at what is a very simple image. I'd love for you to make a list of 10 or more things that is causing you stress, fear, anxiety, uncertainty, things that are bugging you, things that you wish you had a handle on. I'd love the list to be more than 10 things, not 5 things, not 6 things, at least do 10, but if you could do more, it will help you in the long run. So I'm gonna be quiet for a few seconds as you spend the time thinking through your list. Okay, I see some heads down, but I want to keep an eye on the time. Take a look at your list, and in the chat, put one word that actually describes your whole list. If you could summarize your list in one word, what would that word be? I'm now just catching up on the chat here. Uneasy, quarantine, pandemic. They're all pretty strong words. I feel the same way. Anybody else want to chime in? Okay, the weight. That is for sure. So I'm sharing the next part of this exercise with you. I want not one word, lack of planning. Oh, so Maria, this is going to be good. This is going to be good for you. So now I want you to divide your list into 2 columns. One list of what's in your control and one list of what's not in your control. I'm going to be quiet for a few seconds or so for you to do that little part of the exercise. Okay, as you're filling out your can't control list, take a look at that list and put a star next to those things that you can influence in your can't control list. And then can someone share in the chat like one thing that you can't control but that you can influence? Getting sick of myself. That's funny. You can't control the mask. I get it. What many of us need to do is recognize and let go of what we can't control to get the strength and momentum from the things that they can control. Jackie says, taking safety precautions. You can't control it, but you can influence it. Lynn says, more Zoom time, FaceTime with family. Maria Shriver, she's one of my favorites. She has this quote where she said, some people believe holding on and hanging in there are signs of great strength. However, there are times when it takes much more strength to know when to let go and then do it. One of the things out of your control with an asterisk, tell me, how do you think you can influence that? Anybody have an idea of like with the masks or with taking safety precautions? Does anyone want to raise their hand and just say it? I'll keep going then. What script are you writing for yourself in this season? So like supermarkets, liquor stores, and pharmacies, they're all essential services, right? The wine library, which I know too probably, the one in Springfield, it made a choice to not have people come into their store and put employees and customers at risk, although as an essential service, they could. They made a decision to take orders online and bring it out to your car. They couldn't control the virus, but they controlled how they would run their business. They chose not to follow the script that they could. They rewrote a new script that allowed them to show up in the best way they thought possible for their business. Can you control the effect of the virus on your real estate business? Not directly, but you can influence the amount of impact. This pandemic is forcing people to bring their parents into their homes, which may mean an upgrade in space, and that's an opportunity for you. This pandemic may force people to actually downsize sooner than they predicted, which is another opportunity. And the pandemic is incenting city dwellers into the suburbs, right? Who do you know in the city? You have control over how you show up with these new targets. Can you control the real estate market? No, but you can influence your real estate market by being present, available, and becoming a resource, right? Can you control the acceleration of technology in the marketplace? Likely not, but in this time, you can devote time to learn more about technology and how it might play a role for you and your business in the future. Virtual tours, as we know, are big right now. What do you need to learn about them, know about them, so that you can answer with authority when you're asked by a potential buyer or seller? Can you control your exposure? Now more than ever, you should be defining the secret to your slight edge. This is great. Ronald said, be a thermostat, not a thermometer. Oh my God, I'm going to steal that. That's great. Be a thermostat, not a thermometer. I love that. How are you adapting your personal brand in this unique moment of time? Today, more than ever, you need to play big and bring your best asset, your brand. Those that play big right now play to win. In this highly competitive world, now under pressure more than ever in this virtual workday, you need to distinguish yourself from the other very smart people walking around in your industry and life. And when you do, it's really the best way for you to move away from that fear and anxiety. So I'm going to have Jackie just, can you put up the next poll? This is a really silly one, but I think it's kind of funny.
I have to admit, I stole that too.
Which one did you steal?
The thermostat thermometer.
I'm using it. I love it.
Recycle, reuse.
Hold on, let's end that poll. And let me just ask the question because it didn't show up, so that could be my fault. How many of you have watched The Tiger King?
I have.
I have. I loved it. I watched it.
Well, in a way, when you think about distractions, The Tiger King was a great distraction, but it was many hours. I look back and I wish I could have had those hours back. And what I believe Melanie was saying is that distraction is just really, really hard right now. Distraction is our enemy. Like the news distracts us. The push notifications on our phone distract us. The numbers around this virus distract us. Distraction is the enemy. Focus is the hero. And when you focus, it fuels positivity and productivity, right? So here's an exercise that I believe you should do each day and has helped me to help eliminate distractions and ensure you are staying focused on your goals and bringing your best to your job. I keep sharing my screen and not sharing my screen because I just don't want you to have to focus on, but here is what's important right now for the next part of our exercise. So I want us to answer these 3 questions. The first is, what is it that you need to stop doing today, right? What are we doing that is not serving us? That's not serving our business. There's a quote that says, a girl who is doing big things cannot let small things get in her way. I want you to ask a question about what do you need to start doing? Is it time to learn a new way? What can I do that will serve me and my business better today? What do I need to start doing today? What have I said I needed to do, but I haven't done? Put it down. And then what do you need to continue to do to be a reminder to yourself? Like what's working? How are you maintaining relevance right now? How are you showing up more than ever that you need to continue to do? So I'm gonna just be quiet for about a minute because I want you to spend some time answering these 3 questions. Okay, Melanie shared things I have to do that are not serving my business or making lunch. Normally I would send them off to school with that. Reminding my kids about their Zooms, Zoom learning, but not doing. I mean, the toggle between family and business right now is seriously difficult. And we're gonna talk a little bit about routines that maybe there'll be something in there for you, Melanie, to grab a hold. So can someone share what they're gonna stop doing today? Vanessa's making some good things happen here. She says she's got to get off because she's got to make an offer. And Jackie says wasting time. Diane Curry says turning off the news. Things I will stop doing, trying to plan, which only highlights the negative. Ooh, that's tough. Surfing the internet. Yep, that is not serving you. Is there anything unexpected on your list? Did anything come up for you that surprised you? Getting sucked into distractions. I hear you. What's the one thing you could start doing that would be a game changer for you? So if you looked at what you wrote down and you said, if I just did X, it would be a game changer for me and my business. What do you think that could be? Is anybody strong enough to put it in the chat? Getting lead generation calls. I love that. Not paying attention to my kids. I hear that. I wish they could just be locked in the basement. No, not really, but I did that a couple times. Scheduling family time to keep the balance. Without the schedule, I waste time. Scheduling is important. Time block and stick to it. So the question for you is, if these are game changers, what can you do to get in that game? What can you do today? Can you start today to get you into that game? There are no shortage of solutions for your business. There's often a shortage in clarity in our decision-making that has us staying in place. Ronald says, Nike, just do it. And it's really hard to just do it. I get it. But when you answer these questions and you really look at when you put pen to paper, there are really 3 simple questions which can help you eliminate the distractions, because you know, and they can point you to where you need to spend your time, where you should prioritize. And when you prescriptively put time and energy around that, it will be a game changer for you. So I'm going to share one other, second to last visual with you that I saw several weeks ago. And if anybody follows Tim Ferriss, he actually posted this on his social channel. So this is, what do I want to be during COVID-19? It's a really great visual. Each of us is likely experiencing all or some of these different areas of focus. What the diagram shows is what it looks like to move yourself out of the fear zone and into the learning and growth zone. When you move from learning and into growth, you develop endurance, courage, and resiliency around what and where you need to go. The growth section is a little bit different than you might have thought. It speaks to me as it represents the role model that I want to be. Being a role model for yourself may be a beacon for you and can move you forward right now. Being a role model may just be the game changer for you. Consider adopting a role model mindset so that when you look back at this time, that you're going to be proud of what you created, what you reset, and what you launched. The most influential person in your life right now is you. And when you recognize your influence over you, it will be that game changer. Robert Kennedy has a famous quote, "It is more important to be in service than to be successful." Going beyond and stepping out of your comfort zone to serve others will be huge right now. We get more back when we give to others. Giving is one of the most effective improving ways to boost well-being. It's transformative for you as much as it is for other people. Knowing you are making a difference has a positive impact. Michelle Obama took to Twitter to suggest writing to first responders, right? A handwritten letter, a social media post, a simple thank you, which can go a long way in showing your appreciation for the heroes among us, but also it will make us feel great. Where can your personal brand show up right now to help others? Just as kindness can be contagious, anxiety and stress can be contagious too. So here's an idea for helping you turn it around by being that role model. How about considering a 30-day giving challenge? I've done it and it changed my whole life. How about you wake up and make a plan to just give with no consequence to others? You can just do it and go out and do it, or you can actually share with people, as I did. This is day 17 of my 30-day giving challenge. Can I help connect you with somebody? Can I give you a coaching session at no charge? Can I put you, can I socially post about your business? What can I do to help you today? And I always tell them you can't say no. You can take a rain check, but you can't say no. So let me ask you a question. What are you doing to learn and adapt right now? How are you role modeling? Can you share a little in the chat? Kara says set 3 goals, 1 personal, 1 business, and 1 home. And that is exactly something I do every morning in my journal. I give myself 3 priorities along those lines. Anybody else want to share about how they're role modeling right now? The most memorable thing that Martha Stewart said to me was learn something new every day and go teach it to somebody else. Just as the don't be the thermostat, be the don't be the thermometer, be the thermostat. Social distancing should not distance us from the goodness that we can bring others, both personally and to our business. As a role model, your network should know that in uncertain times like these, there's something that is absolutely certain. And that is that you are here for them. Diane says, having my children help volunteering. It's wonderful. That is the amazing things that people are doing right now are great. Keeping a level head, Maria says, being purposeful in my communication so they don't add to someone else's stress level. You know what, Maria, that's huge. Communication is really, really important now, and that you're being so careful about it to not, ensure that no one takes anything that they don't, to add to their stress level, I think is huge. As a role model, your network should know that, I said that, on certain times like these, there are absolutely what's certain is that you are here for them. As realtors, we are the resources around our market, the communities, our resources, our connections. How can you leverage your personal brand and show up in as many ways in as many places as you can? Model the behavior of role models. So instead of comparing yourself to others on social media, look to your role models and on social and learn from them. Take their guidance. In the book, The Ninja Difference, he says there's 4 pillars of that sales associates need to follow for success. That's recognition, reputation, relevance, and differentiation. By adopting a role model mindset, it will help you authentically differentiate you and have you become more relevant and more customer-centric. And if you're still not sure what to do, reach out and ask for help. The nicest thing that we can do for ourselves is ask for help. Language is powerful. The people who bring you down are the people who are using negative language. I like the quote, you attract what you think and you receive what you believe. A turn of a phrase can turn around a mood, a mindset, and it can really change our day. Instead of I have leukemia, I turned that into I'm being treated for leukemia. That change of a phrase was a huge shift for me in my mindset. It tamed the fear and the uncertainty of cancer, and it empowered my view of my future. It suggested an end to treatment and a recovery from the disease. What new language can you create today, like the thermostat and thermometer, a new turn of a phrase that I'm going to steal, to manage your mood? I would love it if you would put your ideas in the chat. I hear a lot about people saying to me, I can't wait for this to be over. It's kind of a common saying. Instead, I'm trying to say, in this great pause, it's giving me the opportunity. What is it giving you the opportunity? Time to exercise, more time with family, more time to learn. There's a new culprit that I also don't like, and it's not so new, but a lot of people are saying I'm so busy, right? What does it mean, I'm so busy? Because you know what, we're all busy. I'd like you to consider changing that and saying I'm in demand. Being in demand means that I'm loved and I'm an expert. Being in demand is a reflection of my health of my business, right? Instead of social distancing, let's say I'm physically distancing. These are words that can change our mood and our mindset. How about I choose to do something instead of I have to do something? The words I have to use all day long. Everyone has to do so many things. Yet, do we have to do all those things, or do we have the opportunity to do them? So the last thing I want to share is around habits and routines. 8 weeks ago, we lost our predictability in our day, our week, and our work. We've entered the endurance phase of this pandemic. Endurance sometimes is about being patient. Endurance is also not static. One way to build your endurance is through daily routines. Another one of my favorite quotes is, "Your future is not determined by your goals, but by your habits." Habits keep us moving forward throughout our day. They keep us on track. Our habits help us define the day. What we do on Saturday should be very different than what we do on Sunday, even if we're not leaving the house and we're sheltering in place, right? Who has a morning routine? Can I see that in the chat? Just say yes or no. Yes, I have a morning routine that you are conscious of, that you do every day, that's in pursuit of your best life and that of your business. So most everyone here is saying yes, which is amazing. You can start your day by hitting the snooze button, by dragging yourself out of bed, by rushing to get to a Zoom call and being late, or scrolling through emails in the morning without really taking control of your morning. I had 30 years of working in the city where I was rolling out of bed and just jumping out and not doing any routine in my day. It's long been touted that when you win the morning, you win your day. Tony Robbins says, if you don't have 10 spare minutes to work on yourself every day, then you don't have a life. We can bring predictability back to our days by bringing repetition to our morning. When daily routines turn into habit, it truly becomes a multiplier effect. A habit is, by definition, an automatic behavior. It frees your mind from having to think. The more good habits you develop, the more time and energy you will have left to spend on moving forward on the important things. The truth is that there's no particular habits that make people successful. There are only habits. What's the secret to the world's most successful people? Their day has as many hours as yours or mine. If millionaires like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Oprah say that success is due to their focus and their habits and routines, why are we not all incorporating more habits into our days? Oprah walks her dogs, has green tea, meditates, and reads every morning as part of her morning routine. Arianna Huffington, she sleeps the 8 hours every night, and she doesn't look at her phone or emails in the morning. She does breathing exercises, she sets an intention, she does 30 minutes of yoga, and does 20 minutes of meditation before she begins her day. In the book, Ninja Selling, it references that the most common thing many millionaires share are simple daily rituals, which over time lead to improved productivity, health, relationships, knowledge, and consequently wealth. I believe everyone has the power within themselves to create long-lasting habits that motivate them to grow into who they were made to be. But the interesting thing is around promises. Can you make a promise to yourself to try a new morning routine, to add to your morning routine? Do we break promises to our kids? I'm not even going to ask you to answer in the chat, because we would typically say, no, we don't break promises to our kids. Do we break promises to our bosses, to our clients? The likely answer is no, we don't. But guess what? We regularly break promises to ourselves. So I'm asking you to make a new promise to yourself over the next 30 days. Let's make a commitment that we're not going to break. 15 additional minutes invested in your day without fail. Get your mind ready for the day and get your energy ready for your business. So in closing, I'm going to share one more slide here with you. And it's a bit of a summary of everything I've addressed here today. Chip Connolly, I mentioned him earlier. He has this book, Emotional Equations. He says, often our emotions get the best of us. How about turning that language around and letting the emotions bring out the best in you? Let's own the day and not let the day own you. When we take action and we're more empowered and more certain, control what we can, let go of what we can't control. When we're empowered, you feel less out of control. When we feel more certain, we feel more right in the world. Let's choose one action you can take today from your start list that will move you and your business forward. Let's offer value to your customers, serve your customers, and be that role model. Be the resource that people turn to. Let's stop talking about this great pause in the pandemic, and let's start by planting the seeds of our future. So as we wrap up, I'm hoping that I did better than that 2%. At least I hope so. And before I open it up to questions, I want to put an offer out there. For those of you who want to develop the secret to your slight edge, I'm offering a free consultation, a free coaching session for 20 minutes. If you want to email me at my email address, which is below, Christina@ChristinaLangdon.com. But does anybody have any questions or any thoughts that they want to share? They can either raise your hand, say it out loud, or in the chat, whatever works best for you. Nothing. I know a lot of people are on mute. Any comments? All right, well, thanks for having me. Please reach out, Christina@ChristinaLangdon.com. I'm going to put you guys on my Sunday Sunshine newsletter. And if you have any questions, you can email me directly.
Thank you so much, Christina.
Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you very much. It was great meeting you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.